What is your one skill that helped you succeed in life?
Empathy.
Wow, empathy. And how come?
Uh, I think it's always been inside me, but I think it was a particular circumstance in Africa, actually in Uganda,
Mhm.
that actually made me realize that I guess I had it more than I thought I had it. But it was also gave me the appreciation of truly listening and understanding others, their situations, learning from other people, uh, and it's shaped my life, totally shaped my life.
So do you often go to Africa, especially you mentioned Uganda, and where are you from?
So I've only been to Africa once, and I was in Ethiopia and Uganda.
Mhm,
I was there on a mission from a giving back perspective.
mhm,
And where am I from? I'm originally from Australia, from Melbourne in Australia. So yeah.
mm. Wow. So going to those country actually helped you shape your, one skill that you need, and that was empathy. And so how did it helped you journey?
Uh, I think we all go through different phases in our life, and
Mhm,
I was very much I was a sales guy in tech companies for many different multinational companies,
mhm,
um, and probably a bit self-centered, a bit materialistic, but always conscious about doing right by others. So I
mhm,
think that's where it was coming from, if you like.
mhm. And like growing up in Australia,
Mm.
how was life and what was your path to success?
Um, yeah, life was wonderful. Australia's a wonderful country, and my parents and my siblings are still there. Um, it's a great country of opportunity. Um, I think my parents had always instilled in me, particularly my father, was if something's not right, try something else. So I think that was part of a growth mindset from his side, that helped me, sort of, develop. And I think, then it was just a journey of, um, school, working, different companies, getting different experiences with different people. And I think that created a more worldly aspect or view from me.
Mhm. It is very great and helpful to have a family who supports you to have like a growth mindset. So your educational background, did it help you, to succeed also in life?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I think, of course, I think, part of it is, as you said, nurturing from family, but the other part is being able to go to school, and in some parts of the world, that's not possible. And so it's, my philosophy on that is that if, of course, if you can be provided with opportunity, you should grab the opportunity and, with both hands and make it everything that you possibly can.
absolutely. Yeah. And what was your journey, where like it obviously, Rome is not built overnight. And, you went, from normal, working to where you are at the moment. So if you could tell us like your path
Mhm.
to where you are now, and then you can explain what you currently do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I started off, I did a couple of apprenticeships, like traineeships in Australia.
Mhm,
First one was in radio trades or electronics.
mhm,
Um, that didn't work out. And then I did graphic arts. So I was in graphic arts, sort of in the printing industry. Um, and that was a great experience. I became qualified, and then I decided I wanted to be a salesperson in that industry. I worked for companies like Canon and Fuji Xerox in Australia. I then got I was always looking out at other things. So I then worked for companies in digital data transfer. That was amazing. I then was approached by one of those companies to run that company in Australia and New Zealand.
Mhm.
I moved from Melbourne to Sydney, another great experience, even within my country, but different ways of living and different environments. And then that company was purchased by an American telecommunication company in Singapore. And they literally asked me to go to Singapore. And then I decided, you know what, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's go and go to Singapore. And I was in Singapore for 18 years. And you
Wow.
know, was always had Asia Pacific roles, so I got to go get on a plane and go to Japan and to China and to Thailand and to Malaysia and to Indonesia and Philippines, Vietnam, Taiwan,
Mhm.
um, and so that just further enriched my experience because the cultural landscape, my world became three-dimensional instead of, I guess, one-dimensional.
Absolutely. I love that, three-dimensional lifestyle. A lot of people actually don't see that and they are scared, uh,
Right.
to explore, that kind of, opportunities and meet new people and be out of their comfort zone. But
Mm.
in one hand, you had this kind of advantage, which actually you leverage it very well.
Mm.
Having a company that you actually work part of it, which is growing
Yeah.
from Melbourne to Singapore. It's amazing, but a lot of people don't have what you have. So, do you think it is something to do with the empathy you have because you care others and you care the world and yourself, obviously?
Yeah, I think part of it was that at that stage, I think at the element I think of empathy was really, I guess, like understanding others and other cultures. I was just very interested in that. Just getting information and data. And early on, I was told, "Oh, you're moving jobs too much, and it doesn't look good on your resume." And I just didn't care because, something's got to, you've got to feel it, and you've got to, be passionate about something to really, I guess, invest your time, but then get something back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Another things that also I could see is that to have that kind of mindset growing up was also a stepping stone, and having a family who supports you and you being a goal-getter and trying to explore different opportunities and meeting other people is also a foundation to have, coupled with your skill that you mastered. So what kind of like advice would you give people who would like to master this specific skill that you already have that actually opened a lot of doors?
Yeah, well, I empathy is truly mastered if you walk in the shoes of other people.
Mhm.
And um, it's not pity. It's also not it can be emotional and cognitive,
Mhm.
but to truly sit there and understand what someone is going through, be it good times, bad times, indifferent times,
Mhm.
um, is is really, I guess, the area that I've then just further developed. I think the advice I would give is that if you could lead with one thing in your life and prioritize it, you
Mhm.
lead with empathy. And that is due to the fact that you are someone and has an opinion, but the person across from you also does.
Mhm.
And it is so important to understand other people's opinions, even if you don't agree with them. But you learn from others, you get data, you get insights, and you learn as a result. If you do not genuinely do this,
Mhm.
then you won't actively listen and really truly feel the other side, the other person.
Absolutely. And specifically to this era that we live, we are in 2026. Oh gosh, so much is happening
Mm,
around us, and having that skill is very good, and it will help a lot, a lot. We are actually doing this, kind of like a talk series or broadcast because we established an academy in Somalia, which is called Hano Academy. It is an academic progression and polytechnic academy. And then we set it up and Hano Technical University. We have also a Hano Connect. We have Somali STEM Society, which is an umbrella association. So we have created multiple entities. Uh,
mhm,
and through the work I'm doing in the UK and in Somalia, not only Somalia, but also other parts of Africa, we
mhm.
reached so far 60 people, 60,000, not 60, but 60,000 people. And we
Amazing.
aim by the year 2030, we would wish to reach out, or support, and support over 1 million people. And to do that,
Mm,
we really would like to utilize technology and
mhm.
also talk to people like you who is, inspirational, who are professional, who have something, that they already mastered, some skill, some sort of skill,
Right.
can be a plumber, you can actually be, electrician, you can be a
Mhm.
doctor, you can be,
Right.
IT consultant, you can have any kind of professional. Uh,
Yes.
but the most important is that what is that one skill that we master? So hopefully, we will reach out to so many people through your story.
Yep.
So coming back to your own life, Paul, tell me a
Yep.
little bit about, the work that you're currently doing.
Yeah, sure. So um, I was it about 2016 in a company when I was still in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Um, I got to go to Uganda, as I mentioned at the start, through um, a giving back mission, if you like. And I was fortunate enough to literally sit there in front of a 9-year-old girl who was the president of the Child Rights Club that
Mhm,
educates adults on how to treat children. She blew my mind.
mhm,
And I think my empathy went on steroids. Literally in that moment in time, that night, I reflected in my hotel about how could I actually provide opportunity for others like her.
mhm,
The power coming from a 9-year-old, I didn't think about the youth and actually how powerful their voice and their message can actually be before that moment in time.
mhm,
And so I decided to do a couple of things. The first one was I started my own foundation called Dreams for Life.
mhm,
And Dreams for Life is focused on providing free early childhood education to children in need. And we do that via a Montessori learning system with our Montessori in a Box program. I came back from Africa and I'd done a lot of work in Asia, including Indonesia. So I started in Indonesia
mhm,
and we established that we're helping now 1,300 children with a free education. We've taught and educated 82 community members to be Montessori teachers.
mhm,
And that in itself proves that if you provide opportunity to anybody, even if they don't have a university degree in education, they can be amazing teachers. So I have 82 amazing teachers.
mhm,
Um, and we've set up 24 community schools, which are community-led schools. So we're very conscious about the community is the community and has their own culture and approach to things. So the learning is designed to integrate into their community and they lead it with our support. Uh, So that one moment, then, as I said, I think it just grew my appreciation. Then in the corporate world, I was looking for early in career people to join my team in the corporate environment because I started thinking like, wow, their minds, these generations and the way what they've been got access to in knowledge has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and then I literally got to a point in the corporate world where I was a bit disillusioned by what they thought learning and leadership was. So I started my own consultancy, and we focus on doing mastering emotional intelligence in leadership. And so that flows into my non-for-profit. My non-for-profit flows back into that. And so that's who I am today.
Wow, that is very inspiring. You know, a lot of people don't actually, they think you have to have the skill first in order to succeed, but sometimes it is not like that.
No.
Look at you, you had your whole career,
Mm.
you were all settled. And then, you had the aha moment. And
Yes.
aha moment is that uh, definitely skill. And it's not something that you went to school and learned per se, but it's some things that you saw and learned from
Mm.
somebody else.
Yes. Yeah, it's that willingness to, I guess, explore and be curious, right? I mean, curiosity is a huge factor in all of this. You talk about the one thing, but I think there's multiple things that are interconnected. But the element of empathy, like if I'm looking to hire someone in my foundation, in
Mhm,
fact, even in my consultancy, I'm looking for heart,
mhm,
right? I want their heart. I want them to be I want them to feel and be passionate about learning this skill or being part of this organization. Because my belief is, to your point,
mhm.
skill you can learn.
Yeah.
Heart, if the heart's not there, the heart's not there.
Absolutely. You said it, very well put it out there, definitely. Because, and then this is what we're trying to do, we're trying to do through your inspiring story and journey.
Mm.
People will also learn something out of this conversation that we are having today. Um,
Yes.
so now you have your own consultancy. Now you have also your own nonprofit organization where you actually try to give back.
Mhm.
So tell me about like, how difficult was it to set it up? Because like for our
Mm.
viewers who
Yeah.
love to set it up like nonprofit or their own consultancy, what kind
Yeah.
of advice would you like to give?
Yeah. I think first on the non-for-profit, I mean, again, I think I had such a drive to do it. But the drive, you've got to make sure that your drive doesn't overcompensate. Um, Arrogance is not the right word, but thick-skinned. You don't want to block other people out. So the benefit for me was in Indonesia. One, I didn't speak Bahasa. In fact, I still don't speak very good Bahasa. Um, but finding people who knew the landscape, understood, going to meet people in the communities, learning from other people, building a foundation of knowledge that allows you to be more confident in what you need to do to make sure that the non-for-profit works.
Mhm,
Uh, the other thing in a non-for-profit was a very big focus, which will always be there as long as I'm alive. And hopefully the legacy continues in making sure that the higher percentage of donations go to the beneficiary.
mhm,
I'm I'm a believer because now we've proven it that you don't need to necessarily staff the non-for-profit with a lot of people.
mhm,
But what you need to do is prove. So our philosophy was you start one school,
mhm,
only one. You want 50, but you start one because if you want to wait for 50, you'll never do it.
mhm,
So you do one, you test it, you go back, you find the holes, you plug the holes, you make it right, you build quality. Then you've got a beautiful quality replicable model that you can then take. And then you've got all of your sales and marketing, you've got your proof statements, you've got everything that you can replicate to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5. And now we're at 24.
Mhm.
So that's on the non-for-profit side. Is
So
really,
yes, before you move on your consulting
yeah.
work for the non-profit, it is very challenging, especially, this era that we are living now, about funding. How do you overcome that?
I haven't. Um, but I guess we've done a few things. One was when I was still in the corporate world, I would leverage the corporate company I work for and educate them on what we're doing. And it's a bit of a challenge because you always feel a bit awkward. You're the founder of the non-for-profit, but you also work for this company. So you have to make sure, of course, everything is above board, everything's transparent, finance is transparent, everything. Where the money goes is very clear. People can see what the beneficiaries get. But yeah, the fundraising we've done through corporate CSR. We're currently doing a range of events in Indonesia where companies bring, like do a incentive trip in Bali. And so we would bring the children and do activities with their teams to raise money for Montessori in a Box.
Hmm.
And outside of that, I funded a lot myself, and just through people and network. And again, it's communicating, talking, identifying people who have a similar feeling and they want to give back because that's important.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very creative because like you didn't wait until the fundings come, and
Yeah.
it's similar about what we do as well. We don't just to wait the funding, we just to do the work, and if we get it, we are lucky. If we don't, then
Right.
we have to just to say, poof, it's a little bit challenging, yeah,
Right.
and then we move on. So I love, the approach that you actually
Mm.
take, which is very inspiring. So, like, so now you have your charity, your non-profit organization, you had your other company that you were working for, and then
Yeah.
so you stopped your normal job and then started your consultancy, or you're just doing both?
Yeah. I was, in my mind, I was knowing that my end in the organization and corporate life, to be honest, was coming to a close. So I just in parallel did planning. I didn't initiate anything commercially until I'd left, but just researching, putting things in place. I'd lived in multiple economies that, of course, have different tax regimes. And so I'd paid a lot of tax. And one of my mindsets was I didn't want to pay a lot of tax. So I did research in Dubai, in the Middle East, and we've registered Ignite Performance, my consultancy there. And that's been great from that perspective. And we're still a global entity. So we have clients across the world, but predominantly in Asia Pacific, and Europe. But yeah, it's, that side of it was, I think it was important to do all of the groundwork. And what I mean in that is, of course, the company set up, but you have to get clarity in what you want to do and do less than more, right? It was sort of that same philosophy as getting the school right. The same philosophy was, right, what are you going to create as programs of learning programs? How many are you going to do? And it was about mastering one or two of those programs. So we have 3 academies. Um, we built the marketing collateral, the messaging, and spent literally a good 6 months going through that, testing it, having conversations with people. And that's the other thing is I got this great advice from a very good friend of mine. I'd left corporate and I had this sinking feeling because people weren't communicating with me. I didn't get any emails anymore. No one was calling me. So I was like, Hmm. And he said to me this one thing. He said, "You keep talking, Paul. You keep talking to people, and it's sort of don't go with a preconceived idea. Just ring someone, talk to them about your idea, even if it's not related. You'll learn something,
Mhm.
right? And something will pop, and you'll get the next bit, and the next bit, and the next bit. So that would be my advice: is commercially do things right, but then spend the time to
Mhm.
have the goal and the vision set so that you don't fall victim to going in and then rushing to try and get money, but you're not sure what you're trying to get money for,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you have three academies. Is it under your company or is it separate?
Yeah, under my academy, so under my company. So Ignite Performance, we have the Aspire Leadership Academy,
Mhm.
which is targeting towards aspiring leaders, early in career people, because I have a passion about why wouldn't you teach emotional intelligence to the younger generation? Why?
Mhm.
Right? And I know why it's not done. So I have a passion about that, and that's what the Aspire Academy is about.
Mhm.
Um, and then the second one is the coaching academy, so the Ignite Coaching Academy with emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And so it is about looking at core competencies of emotional intelligence
Mhm.
and understanding how you apply those skills, learn and apply those skills to be to be able to master leadership over time. The third one is a sales mastery academy, but it is centered around human engagement. So everything we do is about human engagement. Like in sales, people have lost this understanding of discovery, like real discovery. And that's also where leading with empathy comes in. You
Mhm.
know, go and talk to, understand the person you're talking to first. Uh, then it's powerful. You build trust very, very quickly, and you can ask them anything, they can ask you anything, and it just works. So, yeah.
Wow, that is very impressive. Absolutely. So, like, your company is now international, obviously, and you are obviously the CEO and running. So, like, a lot of people would like to create their own companies, but they are
Mhm,
so scared to
mhm.
leave their current job because that bills the bills.
Of
You
course.
know, so number one priority is to survive. We are a human being.
Yeah.
What made you to leave your job?
Uh, it was interesting. I felt like I got far more learning, and I still do, from my non-for-profit
Mhm.
than what I was getting from my job. Um, I wouldn't say that I'd stopped learning, but I certainly wasn't learning as much. And so I think that was reducing my interest in that. Still wanted to help people, still wanted to do my job, but the the company beliefs started not aligning with mine. And I think that's the important time. Everyone goes through a phase where the company nurtures you, right? And you learn skills, and you learn so much inside an organization. So my suggestion is, if that's your path, take the path, embrace it. But when it gets to a point where it's not right for you, you're not getting out of bed in the morning going, this is for me, or you have an absolute other interest, um, if you can't find another job in that area, think about being an entrepreneur and starting your own entity. And the passion will help you, but get advice, have conversations, talk to people, build a platform of knowledge and almost comfortability and confidence that um, I can do this, because that's going to be a key part of getting that first client, and then the second, and then the third.
Absolutely. That is so correct. When sometimes when you are the ceiling. You are not learning more. The job is not as challenging as it used to be.
Mm.
You are not getting what you used to get. Obviously, you have to look
Mm.
alternative path. And also another thing is the motivation of the freedom. You are your own boss. If you sleep longer, then you want to make a lot of money the next day or the
Mhm.
next week, and there are bills to pay. Other things is that, to give back and seeing your impact as well. Um,
Right.
so you just, so for your lifestyle and where you are living, what would you say that is the one thing that actually helped me to make that final decision? Because, like, living your day-to-day job, starting your own, company and charity and all of that is a big, 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 big step. So what is the one
Yeah.
thing that you think that helped you? Is it still the empathy, that one skill, or is it something else?
No, yeah, I still think it was empathy, and it still is. It's still that's like a beacon,
Mhm,
right? That if it's the non-for-profit, it's empathy for providing opportunity for other people that don't have the opportunity or they're disadvantaged. And I think in my consultancy, it's empathy for my clients because our approach is to customize to the need of the client. We don't go in with I have this amazing program off the shelf, you should take it and it will be amazing. We have a very different boutique, customizable approach, and it's empathy driven. It's, doctor, what are your needs? Tell me what they are, and let's see if there is a fit here. And if there is, we could do this, and we could do this, and we can do this. So everything about that, I think, where I situate myself in the world, the people I interact with, is much more driven around empathy. I value that, and it's allowed me to read people really well. I gave someone the example yesterday. I said I've mastered the ability that when people ask me what I do and I talk about dreams for life, I can work out within even less than a minute if they're even interested, if the heart is there. Um, so it can be a very short elevator pitch and that's it, or it can go on into be a very fruitful and joyful, conversation.
mhm,
Um, and then you make choice, right, as to keeping that relationship or extending others and building on things. But empathy, um, game changer, still is.
I love the fact that, the one skill that helped you succeed in life is intertwined with everything that you do, whether it's
Mm.
client, your own company, the people who work with you in your company, the charity, like the non-for-profit organization that you set up. It's beautifully interconnected, and it harmonized everything together.
Mm.
And that is the success. That's the reality. Like, if your job and whatever you're doing is not
Mm.
fulfilling you, then you don't have a real calling in life. That's what I say.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't matter how much money you make, but
no,
what matters most is that, are you happy,
yes,
whatever you do.
yeah, yeah, and it's the whole process, even in the non-for-profit world, we've gotten education down to $10 a child per year.
Mhm,
$10 a child per year.
mhm,
So um, you know, it's uh, it's great. It's a great achievement, but my goal is that I want to scale. I have an amazing I want to scale in Indonesia. There's 250 million people here. There's 4.8 million children living in poverty. Um, that's reported. I think it's much more than that. Um, so yeah, the goal here is still big, but I started this in Africa, and there's something in me that I want to be able to replicate this in Africa.
mhm,
Such a great model for early childhood. It's the most cognitive age of learning. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's the feeder of everything.
mhm. Absolutely. Wow. So for, what would you say, yeah, 10-year-old you, what kind
Oh,
of advice and would you give?
yeah, I thought about this quite a bit. Um, what advice would I give? It's interesting. It's sort of like trust people, but don't.
Mhm,
Um, I guess trust people cautiously. I think I've lived my life maybe being a very, very over trusting person.
mhm,
So I would probably say to my 10-year-old self,
mhm,
um, if my 10-year-old self understood what I'd said, just um, trust in you, of course, your decisions, but just be aware, you
mhm,
know, qualify people and maybe get more data and some more information before you make decisions.
mhm,
Um, I think because I made many mistakes, and I would pin it all back to
mhm.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's very good advice, and you know yourself very well. So, and that's what we try to reflect, so that we can not make the same mistake that we have been doing and say, okay, like, what would I tell my 10-year-old me,
Mm.
is this and that, and then you reflect slowly, and you try to align with purpose and be
Yes.
conscious about it, and move, because we as a human being, we have kind of habit of doing
Mm.
similar mistake all over again and again. you know
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Women saying like, oh, I'm attracted to bad boys, for example, and then they marry the same you know similar
Yeah.
guys. you know
Yeah.
but they need to reflect and take time off
Right.
and say, why am I doing this? What advice would I give you know
Right.
young me, for example?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because it's actually very regular advice that I give coaching clients and clients in the academy because what I find is that time is not taken by people, right? So I would ask people, I recently did a workshop with 80 people
Hmm.
and I asked them, other than the two times a year in the performance review
Hmm.
with your employees,
Hmm.
put your hand up if you've asked any one of these three questions.
Hmm.
Um, how are they doing,
Hmm.
like in their personal life?
Hmm.
Do they have any career aspirations,
Hmm.
right? At all?
Hmm.
And also, how do they feel in the workplace,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Not one person put their hand up.
Wow.
And I asked them why. And
Hmm.
they said, well, Paul, we don't have time. And I said to them, that's rubbish. Of course you have time. You are not making time.
Hmm.
Everyone can make time. So it's not the excuse you use.
Hmm.
And so my point on the self-reflection you were talking of was make time to self-reflect.
Yeah.
And I said, after an important meeting, actually block your calendar with an extra 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Because the reality is no one books you at 45 minutes and no one books you at 15 minutes. So you actually get 30 minutes
Yeah.
and self-reflect. Take the time, think, prepare for the next one, whatever you want to do. And they're all like, oh yeah, that's really good advice. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. And I said, because you're in control of your calendar. Don't let other people control your calendar. You control it. So yeah, short story, but
Amazing. Yes, a friend of mine actually used to say to me, like, I never seen in my entire life you being grumpy or not smiling, and
Mhm,
I always smile. I don't know, it's something in me.
mhm,
And then even if I had like the most horrible day, I'm still smile. And it
mhm.
is that, how can I say, positivity that you give
Yes,
to
positive
others.
energy.
Yeah, positive
Mm.
energy. That's what we also need. So when you are welcoming, when you are actually open-minded and you don't judge people,
Mm.
because their ethnicity, their color, their religion, whatever
Yeah,
background they come from. And again, it comes all about empathy, your
yeah,
skill,
yeah.
that helped you succeed in life. And
Hmm.
having all of that multiple layers and having that mindset and, reflection and, all of that will help to achieve what we want in life, because life is too short. You have to try to master,
Yes.
those things that you need. And sometimes you don't need to go university or a school or, to
Yeah.
master that. Listening one broadcast will help you, to reflect while you're driving in your car or, you know, doing something, instead of wasting time of
Yes.
for yourself.
Right. Right. Exactly right. It's doing something. When I first got to Singapore, I decided to do charity work, and so we did a Christmas run with toys for the kids in with cancer in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I love four-wheel drives. I became president of the Jeep Club. And these are all decisions. I just made these decisions, and you've got to try things. You've got to do things. You have to test. Is it right? Is it wrong? Do I love it? Do I not?
Hmm.
You have to try things in life, and sometimes it's the path that you didn't necessarily plan for that takes off.
Hmm. Absolutely. No, thank you so much. And we are towards the end of our talk series or broadcast. We haven't actually find, things to say, but a lot of people that had this nice chat said like, it is a broadcast. You should say that. I said, we are doing it online. We don't want to like do it physically because we want
Yes,
to utilize technology as we said before.
yes.
And so, for what would you say, what would you conclude our conversation? Is there something that you will leave with our audience?
Um, Listen to more of these conversations, not because not of me, but just listen to more people, get more understanding, get more perspectives. Don't don't you live your life in your own world. Live live everyone's, and then use whatever you need to do. Filter the information and use it and leverage it. Play the leverage game, and you'll get a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning. Um, and to your point, you don't have to go and do this in a tertiary education system. Um, if you're passionate about it, you'll make it happen. You'll just make it happen. And I have a saying: dream, believe, achieve.
Wow. That is well said. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us today. And we look forward, hearing so much about you. Hopefully, we will do together TikTok Live or YouTube Live in the
Sure.
future. And thank you for your time. Have a lovely
Pleasure.
day.
Thank you for having me.